All sports, all talk, all action. This is a sports show on Tuks FM.
Wonderful day to you. Thank you so much for joining me today here on Local Heroes. And today we're focusing on the sporting called golf, and we're focusing largely at a champion who grew up in the 012, but largely sort of started playing golf really at a young age of 4, and went on really to be on the Sunshine Tour where he is now, and he's doing very, very well. James, thank you for joining me today. How's it going?
Sure, man. Thanks so much for having me, Len. It's going good, man.
Fantastic. James, just a real curiosity of when did this all start for you? Largely, starting golf at the age of 4. I just wonder, whether the passion really start growing.
Yeah, look, I think my dad played while I was growing up. He only started playing when he was almost 40 years old. And I think I would just go along with him to driving ranges and things like that. But I knew from a very young age that this was a dream that I wanted to pursue. I could remember from the age of about 7 or 8 years old that my dream was to become the best player in the world. And my pro career started about 2 years ago, and that's where I'm at the moment, is just pursuing that.
It's certainly not easy to get onto the tour and to play and to compete at that level. Just wonder, what do you attribute your success thus far to?
Yeah, look, I think if anyone thinks that professional sport, whether it be golf or rugby or cricket or whatever it might be, to perform at the top level is unbelievably difficult and very unforgiving. But yeah, if I had to pinpoint something, it'd definitely be the team of people that have invested their time into my career. My coach, Llewellyn van Leeuwen, and the number of trainers that I've had in the gym over the last few years, and on the psychological side of things, as well as probably most importantly, my family. The team of people that you include around yourself, I think, is a non-negotiable for wanting to climb that ladder to success, because there'll be a lot of times where you go through slumps in form, where I think the self-belief that you have in yourself tends to disappear with your form, and those people around you who stay objective and whose care for you doesn't depend on your performance at all is extremely important.
Absolutely. You mentioned largely about your coach. You guys have a 17 years working relationship. You break down how that has really turned out.
Yeah, I noticed the other day that he's the longest relationship that I've had with someone outside of my family.
That's nice.
Yeah, he's the first and only coach I ever had. I started at him or with him when I think it was 8 years old, when he just started as a coach. And yeah, we have a fantastic relationship. I think we're good mates as well outside of golf. And I think as I got older, the level of trust that we have in our relationship, professional and personal, has just grown from strength to strength. And I don't see myself ever changing from Llewellyn. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to the journey that we can walk together.
Absolutely. They do say that when you are getting the results that you're getting, there's no need to change who you're working with. So I guess you're happy with the results that you've been getting thus far.
Yeah. I think it's been tough. If you have the standards that professional sportsmen tend to have, I think you can often get into a place where winning becomes the only thing. But to find positives and I think more importantly, joy in small processes is even more important.
No, absolutely. Talking about small processes, one that's certainly been an irritation for you is that wrist injury that you've had to deal with, which wasn't going away, it was recurring. What would you say helped you to overcome that real hurdle in your journey?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I turned pro in April 2018, and then after my third event as a pro, had some really good momentum. I tore a ligament in my wrist. Still not sure how it happened. And then I was supposed to be out for about 5 months with one wrist surgery, and ended up being about 18 months and 3 surgeries later. So that was an extremely tough time. But yeah, I think in that time, as I alluded to earlier, the people who I have around me, my family and my friends, were absolutely phenomenal. And I think that was a period in my life where my faith really played a big role, and that was solidified as probably the cornerstone for yeah, you can call it the way I view things and the way I do things, and where I draw my strength from. Because at that point in my life, the very thing that I'd worked so hard to achieve of turning pro and starting out my career was taken away from me. And after the third operation, the doctor basically said, well, if this doesn't work, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was very blessed that turned out to be the one that worked. Third time was actually the charm. But yeah, definitely the people around me who pulled me through that very dark time, and yeah, I'm very grateful to them.
Absolutely. I hear a lot of really mentioning that you got to have people around your support structure, because life will happen to you and life will happen in various ways. So having the people around you sort of helps you to get through those processes and not doing it alone. So I'm glad that you managed to sort that out and to really have the support structure that you've had. But most importantly also is that transition from playing amateur to moving to the professional circle. I just wonder how that has been for you, because it is a different level of competition. It's a different level of, how do you climatize and transition to that level?
No, look, it's been interesting. I think I've been pro for 2 and a bit years, almost 2.5 years, but I've only been playing for 9 months as a pro. I was injured for 18 months, and then we've had COVID for 7 months, which has chopped up our season dramatically. So for me to answer that question, I think I'd be lying a little bit, because I still think I'm in the process of figuring out how that transition works and how to best navigate my way through that. But what I have found is to not necessarily reinvent the wheel. There's a reason why I have gotten to the point where I've gotten. And I think what I've noticed as well is you can so easily get over analytical about the things that you do just because you are now deemed a professional, which you are. But to make that mental shift and realize that to just stick to the processes that you have in place, and just trust the fact that the things that you've been doing up till now have worked. And obviously along the way, there'll be little tweaks here and there to obviously try and get to that next level. But yeah, I think mentally as well, it's been a big learning curve in the sense of just acclimatizing to the level of competition. I think anyone who looks at the main tours, whether it be the PGA Tour, the European Tour, and then deems the Sunshine Tour as potentially a second tier tour, I think they're making a big mistake, because the level of competition here is absolutely unbelievable. And because of the prize purses we play for being smaller than those 2 tours that I mentioned, I feel a lot more pressure, because you have to finish higher up in the tournaments in order to make a good living. So to make that mental switch to just acclimatize to the level of competition has been an interesting journey so far, and I'm sure it'll go from strength to strength.
Well, certainly, hopefully it will certainly go from strength to strength. And also, talking about strength to strength, hopefully the years will also go by from strength to strength. I wonder what is in the pipelines for you. Where do you like to see yourself in the next about 3 years, if you want to call it?
Yeah, I had plans of going to the PGA Tour School, which was this past September, but because of the global pandemic at the moment, those opportunities were postponed a year. So hopefully by that time, there's either a vaccine or people have sorted something out to treat what's going on, to allow, obviously not just myself, but other people to get back into what we deem as normal. But yeah, I'm chasing to get onto the PGA Tour in the States, and that's the ultimate goal, to compete to the best in the world week in and week out.
Absolutely, James. Certainly true. And we at Tuks FM, as well as the University of Pretoria, certainly wish you well on that journey. And most importantly, I know you're preparing for a big tournament on the weekend. I wonder how you're feeling about that one.
Yeah, feeling very good. We're playing at a fantastic course this week at Sun City. It's really, really nice to play in some warmer temperatures, as the past couple of weeks has been bitterly cold in Joburg. So yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good week, and really looking forward to playing.
Incredible, James. Thank you so much for joining me today on Local Heroes.
Thanks, Lennox. Thanks for having me, man.
Incredible. That's James Hart, who's certainly got a wonderful journey ahead of him. And he was the focus today on Local Heroes, where we focus on the champions from the 012.